Hello.
Hello.
Why?
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Who was originally our first guest in the podcast version as well? We've come full circle. Is it only Dan that you can't hear people, or is it? It might just be you.
Just me.
makes a change.
Me. Right, one day I'll be able to start a live stream without any audio glitches.
I can hear. I can
Yeah,
hear
I think I
Julie in the
just-
background
Yeah.
confirming.
Well,
Let's try that again, Dan. So
Right.
try to just reset.
Hi, everyone. It's me. It's DM Dan. This is
Why?
the Tavern Dimensions episode 3. I'm just gonna every week, every episode, I'm just gonna go through someone not being heard at the start of the stream. This episode is my turn. Hello, hi, thanks for joining us. Also, hello, Carl.
Hi.
Hello, Lane. Well, they've already heard you say hello, haven't they?
Exactly. You know.
And then it's
You're just
Birdie
catching
again.
up.
Here, there we go.
Well, again, was
Flawless,
our first guest. Yay.
flawless stream right here. How are we all doing?
Yeah, doing good.
Amazing.
I got to
Good
leave
to-
work early.
Hey.
good.
It's good to see you, Birdie. I said, like, you were our first ever guest when Tavern Between Dimensions was a podcast. So it's amazing to have you here as we've in the new form. So
Yeah, I'm happy to be here again.
Yes, we are excited to have you along. And I mean, well, I guess obviously, you know, we've said hello and we've said hello to you. For anyone in there who's watching, hello to the Cantrip Canteen crew. How you doing? Hi, Kylie et al. Yeah, we're really pleased to have you along, Birdie. And yeah, I mean, because you've basically been like a pillar of the Explorers of Elso channel for yonks and a day. But yeah, what is it that you do? What is it that you bring to the world via the interwebs?
Well, I think my personality, my looks, obviously,
Yes, of course.
and yeah, and for the community, a little bit of maps. Just a bit, not too much. I'm basically flooding the subreddit D&D maps and battle maps with my content.
Yes,
All for free, and that's how I contribute to the D&D community.
amazing. Because yes, for those of you who've been like watching Explorers of Elsewhere videos in the past, quite a lot. But basically, the maps that look nice are from Birdie.
you know, that's the thing. Like, while Dan brought the story, like Birdie, you brought the aesthetic to EOE.
Yes, for which I am eternally grateful. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, good week. You got to go home early. How many hours of sleep have you had in the last fortnight, Carl? Can you count them on one hand?
Yes, I can. I mean, you know, that's you know, the pitfalls of fatherhood, but you know, currently wouldn't change it for the world. He's yeah, it's been an experience.
Nice.
But yeah, I could always do with more sleep, and I think I could do with that before before I had a kid.
Yeah.
You know, this was just like, you know, that was training before. Now it's the real thing.
So, shall we get down to brass tacks? Because yeah, obviously we've got this highly esteemed guest joining us. So it would be woeful of us not to talk about really nerdy things involving high pixel density and web. How do we pronounce it? Is it web peas, webups?
Web-up.
Web-ups.
Web-ups.
I'm calling them web-ups now.
Web-ups. Web-ups.
Webpage.
Well, yeah, they're just web pages, aren't they? Beautiful maps, basically. Because, I mean, it would be rude of me not to mention that. You mentioned you've got all free maps that you post on Reddit and that, but you also have significantly larger, not free maps. Where can we find your stuff?
Actually, no. So
Of course
all
it
my
is.
content is free. Everything I produce is free, and the only thing behind the paywall are the virtual tabletop files.
That's it.
But beside that, everything on my Patreon page is available for free.
Yes.
Usually, when I release the new maps, it takes like at least a month until the free version comes out. But so patrons have a little bit exclusive content for a short amount of time.
Amazing.
That's a really good way of doing it as well, though, because you get it just adds to the community and obviously just enriches D&D with this, again, beautiful maps, utterly beautiful.
Yeah.
I do my best.
So for those of you who haven't kind of heard of Birdie Maps or kind of seen Birdie stuff, Birdie, like how did you like get into map making? Like what made you sit up, bolt upright in bed one day and think, you know what, I'm gonna make massive D&D maps?
Oh well, it's a very interesting story. As you know, I'm a dungeon master myself, like my T-shirt says.
Yeah.
And it was a time when I started to run an evil campaign. My first evil campaign playing in Cormier. You remember, Dan?
Yeah.
It was the reason I contacted you at first.
Yes.
And in this campaign, what's belonging to an evil campaign? It's a dungeon. And I want my players to be able to create their own dungeon. But doing it on the direct session is a little bit tricky. So I provided them with a first battle map. Actually, I can show it to you.
Oh, the first one.
Oh. Okay.
Is my stream visible? I'm not sure about it.
Give me 2 secs. Everyone talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I think this is a test for you, isn't it, Dan? Like,
This could go
one of two
horribly
ways.
wrong. Horribly wrong. Right, I think if I hit this button here.
So, this was my first.
Hey!
It wasn't even done in Dungeon Draft. It was with a free online tool, and it was a dungeon I wanted my players to provide. And from time to time, they expanded. Each room got bigger. They got secret areas. They built in the height. They built 3 layers down with the whole dungeon underneath it. This was the reason I started doing battle maps. And from time to time, my maps got better. I created more than I needed. And one day, a player of my group just told me, well, why don't you create a Patreon? A friend of mine was able to pay some of his bills. You could do the same. Your maps have the similar quality. Yeah, and as said, I did it, as you see. And no, it's my full-time job.
Nice.
That in itself is already more than a serviceable map. I see some cheeky Dyson textures. But yeah, and that's really amazing. So, because from what I understand, you're allowing your Evil Cormier campaign to as a tangent, Evil Cormier campaign, the stuff that you were telling me about when we were comparing Cormier campaign notes, like your campaign just sounded wild.
Yeah, I do remember hearing a bit about it. Yeah, it sounds
even
nuts.
got wilder. It even got wilder. Like, I could tell stories. I think the most interesting part I did was running 2 campaigns, both set in Cormier, one an evil campaign, one a good campaign.
Yeah.
And so all events are, shaping the history of the country.
Yeah.
And then I got my second evil campaign also running Cormier, my third good campaign also running in Cormier. And from time to time, I was building up a whole story, whole events that my current Cormier looks totally different to the one we started. The king got killed by the evil players. The good ones tried to protect him, but they failed. Now the evil organization is taking control.
Yes.
And yeah, at the moment I'm running my third evil campaign in Cormier.
So your Cormier looks a little less heroic than Dan's did.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think this one has so much potential because the good campaign, the players are really, really good. I haven't played with such good play characters, such good designed characters with strong abilities. And there was one situation where the evil campaign has the order to kill a target, let's say target, and as it turns out, the target was the father of one character from the good campaign.
Damn.
Okay.
And the evil campaign, yeah, they failed, kind of. They didn't found the father, but the rest of the family, and killed them. And then they found the father and killed him as well. So they killed all family members from one player of my good campaign.
Oh no!
It was the most dramatic moment, the funeral of his parents, and he has nothing prepared, but he was in such a good role, in such a good moment that he suddenly, how do you say it, hold a speech.
Yeah.
And he swore revenge to his enemies. And now the good campaign. Also, he got 1 level in Paladin for this, because it was so epic. And now they are hunting down the evil players.
So sorry. The good campaign, the evil campaign are running concurrently, like they're running at the same time.
Yes.
And they're direct. Oh my god.
And I'm assuming they're different groups of players as well. They're not like there's not crossover players.
Yeah, one player is in both campaigns, but he's good at keeping secrets.
Okay. Was he the player whose family got murdered by the other group?
Nope.
Did he murder his own family?
I mean, that's a great way of like driving your own story, isn't it? Like,
Absolutely.
create your own
I don't
foil.
have to think anymore. I just let my players do the story part.
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, because there's me in our Cormier campaign, Echoes of War, and like I'm desperately trying to make sure the dog doesn't die. Like,
But I mean, Draw was never going to die. If
He
you had
was.
done anything to him, like as much as even Anton hated Draw, he would eventually been like resurrect. Just the immediate revivify.
yes, absolutely. So yeah, the map that you designed for your players, that was designed to be expandable, presumably, and like as time went on, like when was it you moved to like Dungeon Draft?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
So like obviously the map you did, like that first map you showed us.
Yeah.
So at what point did because if the map was being expanded over time as the players built more and more of a dungeon.
Yeah, when I found the Dungeon Draft.
Yeah, when like what spurred that? Was it like did you just happen to see it and think, oh, this would be handy, or did you go looking
I
for it?
tried so many different dungeon painting software.
Sure.
Also, I drew some maps myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you one example. It's a beautiful one.
Yeah. Let's see if I can make the jump again.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh.
Yeah, but overall, I tried several different programs, and I was always unhappy.
Sure.
I bought several programs as well, and I was unhappy because my maps got too big. It's simply that. But I placed too many assets on the map. The program was laggy and more laggy. I couldn't export the maps, and this annoys me. And then someday I found Dungeon Draft, and I was happy I could finally create big maps that I wanted to.
I know there's definitely been some maps that you've made, I don't have the best PC. It's quite old, and I am looking at one day getting a new one. But there's been definitely points where Dan's turned around and been like, right, we need to like load early because this map might melt Carl's computer. Because they are impressive in size, some of them.
Yes.
Thank God that Foundry allows me to preload a map before we actually need it. Like,
Yeah, that was the reason I switched from Roll20 to Foundry, because my maps weren't loading in Roll20.
so you've got all these maps that you're making. You've got your Patreon. Like what? So how long ago? Sorry, have you been map making? Like how long? Like when was that first map?
I'm doing this for, let me think, 2.5 years.
Okay.
A little bit less.
I mean, well, in which case, 2.5 years. Like your catalogue is extensive. There's a lot of stuff that you've churned out, and it's all utterly incredible. And you were telling me that you've got one Patreon that's made it their like life task to figure out like Birdie World. Like they're trying to piece together all of your maps into one.
Yeah. That's my
giant
background project.
Map.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, yeah. I mean, I guess, like on the one hand, you think, oh, okay, cool, yeah. I'll just casually load up a 4,000 by 4,000 square map. But I guess it also kind of goes to show, like, just how much, like you're verging on like Tears of the Kingdom Hyrule map scale, aren't you? Like just all the different locales and everything kind of connecting in together. So yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, I mean, Lane, have you seen any kind of Birdie stuff since like before? You joined
Nope.
elsewhere?
I have used Dungeon Draft though.
Yeah.
Fairly extensively.
Because
there was a moment in when we were in one of the maps. I can't remember what it was, but I recognized like one of the like a bit of brushwork that was, and I'm like, oh, that's Dungeon Draft.
yeah.
I know that's Dungeon Draft.
Yeah, it's a very distinguishable design.
It is.
Well, I mean, besides like what we say it's distinguishable, but like besides the like all the maps, like because you make your own assets, right, and you sell those on.
I do this not for the shop or anything else, like other asset creators, which I would I would recommend a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because they do amazing. They are so amazing with the assets they are making. The assets I'm making are the specialized ones that are useful in Dungeon Draft, like certain path tools or so.
No, this is the time where you're supposed to be like promoting yourself.
Yeah, but I'm very dependent on the asset creators, and I'm in good contact with a lot of them. So it's mainly their business. So it's not my business, really.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen, yeah, the map making community. I mean, you just have to like stepping onto like Reddit, for example. The people who are creating the maps just seem so like unbelievably kind of friendly and generous, and I guess that comes from that sense of like being a creator, like being someone who wants to enrich the world by introducing something that.
If you start seeing other map creators as opponents or enemies, then you don't make it far.
Yeah.
I would say.
No, that's absolutely fair. I'm just gonna interrupt us because we've got a few questions rolling.
Yeah, some good ones.
So let's start with Sheldon. Hi, Sheldon.
Hi, Sheldon.
What was the most challenging yet rewarding map you've created for your time, either for yourself or a client? I think I know the answer.
I think I do as well.
I knew that Dan knows the answer. Hold on. Where do I have it? It was the Flying City map that I've made. It's, Well,
for everyone at home,
it's pretty old. It's 1 year ago, but still, it's a beautiful map. I just have to find it.
Yeah, he's diving into the archives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing this one, and it's
Flying City. Also, it's very big and not web page, so I will.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be loaded by the end of the stream then.
So take the social images.
Let's do that one. Oh. Okay. It's actually okay. Here we go. Right. Oh, not that one. Not that one.
We need to get the big ones. There was another question. We have some time.
Yeah, let's go for another question. Wait for that one to load.
So, Lois. Hi, Lois. Birdie,
Lois.
how do you find your inspiration for maps?
Everything. Everything I can see outside. I'm going a lot through the forests. That's one source of inspiration. I was on a festival, and as a map creator or artist, you look differently on things. So the festival, all with lights and very colorful, and I was making Underdark maps. You can imagine how this influences itself.
Yes.
On the other hand, I also look at other map creators, what they do for, especially for techniques. Like when I started, I was unsure how to make cliffs at all, and I was looking at other people content and seeing, that's how they do maps, cliffs. Another source of inspiration, Google. Simply as that. When I have commissions for certain stuff, I always ask the people to get me a simple sketch, like a paint sketch Dan would do for his maps. And on the base of this, I can imagine something on top of it.
Yes.
That's main things.
Because I guess also, like in terms of the inspiration bit, because you do a lot of commission work.
Yeah.
So do you find when someone comes in, so say for example, like during the Cormier campaign, I think I commissioned for at least 2 bespoke maps. The underwater Netherese Tower and
that was a good one.
Illithid. The Illithid Nautilid ship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like for those commission bits? Is it more a case of like, okay, I've kind of got a design brief, so I know what to do. Everything's kind of already kind of pre-written, or do you find yourself going, I see what you've asked, but here's a little bit of birdie spice.
Here's something that's better.
Yeah, it depends. For some customers, I have returning customers, a lot of them. They already know how I do my stuff, and sometimes they are just telling me, I need 2 hell maps, you do it your way.
Sure.
It's fine. On the other hand, some if I see the description is very, very long and very detailed, then I always ask the customer for feedback.
Sure.
If that's what you're asking for. Sure.
That makes sense. Right, we have found the Flying City.
Yeah, I thought it would be easier to go on the Patreon page.
Yeah. So, yeah, what are we looking at here?
It's a very big flying city from the Netherese Empire.
Mm-hmm.
That's my source of inspiration. And this whole map is 120 by 120 cells. This was the maximum size in Dungeon Draft, in the earlier versions of Dungeon Draft. And it does not only come with 1 layer, it's 3 layers in total.
Because of course it does.
Yeah. So you have the big upper area where the rich people are living, with a magical cathedral, all the shops and noble housings. Then you go lower areas, and if you're familiar with the Netherese Empire, they have cut off the top of a mountain, turned it upside down, and built a city on it. So that's the cut off mountain.
Nice.
And to lift it in the sky, they have the artifact, the Mythala,
Yeah.
which powers the whole city with arcane energy. Yeah, and it's here in the center of the city, as you see here, or here, the lower part. Yeah, and as you can imagine, if such a city is alone for hundreds and hundreds of years, it becomes a little bit dense in terms of population. and such thoughts are influencing the design of a city. So if
Is
you
it
look
kind
here,
of
the
like
house...
Kowloon City almost?
Sorry?
Like Kowloon City almost, that old city where it was built in walls and it just had no way expanding, so they just went up and up and up.
Yeah. And this influences the whole design, so the buildings here are quite bigger because the noble people have enough money to live more or less in the light area where some sunlight gets. And if you look here, the houses, the rooms are getting tinier and tinier. And in the lowest area, just working areas. There's even a whole dungeon in it.
I mean, it looks like one of the more affluent areas of London. Just with everything just
You've not been to London very often, have you, Dan?
everything just
No, I'm with Dan on this one.
Yeah, including the underground dungeon bit. That's yeah, and then there's more floating around down the bottom.
Yeah, these are... after I finished the Flying City, it was always a dream for me to create such a Flying City. I created more Flying Islands. This is just a noble island connected with bridges, Mythalas here. We have a castle island, which is kind of a dungeon. We have a temple island. They come also with lower areas, so it's just not visible here. And we have a forgery area or workshop island.
Nice.
That's absolutely nuts.
It's an amazing map.
In an amazing way.
I've seen it. I've seen the actual version, and my goodness, it's detailed. Like you can always see it's detailed, but it's detailed.
It's really detailed.
Okay, so second question for you, Birdie. What made you see this as a viable working profession? Also from Sheldon.
When or?
What made you see it? So, I guess at what point did it switch from being, oh, this is something I'm doing for my D&D group to, oh, I could actually do this like full time.
Yeah, it's kind of personal development, I would say. When I started BIRDIE Maps, I was in my master biology, so completely different field. And I got more and more patrons from time to time, and here in Germany it's fairly easy to get some money if you're studying.
Yeah.
So I wasn't hardly relying on the money. I could make up some savings. And then I was getting to my master thesis. And in that time, Corona was hitting very hard. It was a high of Corona time. We had a lot of lockdowns. My master thesis got delayed and more delayed.
Yeah.
And after a while, I was feeling so unhappy going to the laboratory, doing my stuff, and my first thought was, when do I get home? When can I go home? And at the same time, I wanted to go home to make the maps.
Sure.
I wanted to go home to earn my money with my maps, doing what I like. And after 1 year doing BIRDIE Maps, and I was still having fun with it, after 1.5 years, I was still having fun with it. I was earning enough money to pay off all my bills. And at this point, I have finished my master, and I was saying, okay, fuck it, I just... Sorry. you have to beep it.
It's a live stream, it's too late.
Yeah, you're posting it later.
Yeah, sure.
I want to hear the beep noise. We're
just going to get Dan going, like, swear word.
Yeah, and...
We'll just get Dan saying fuck to put over it.
Yeah, and then I was trying. I was thinking, okay, I have my master, I can work in this field if I want, but at least I should try this out if it works. And yeah, after that I was doing BIRDIE Maps full time. It was a little bit tricky in the beginning, but luckily I had some savings. And yeah, there was a Kickstarter going on, more projects, more collaborations, and this is so much fun. Not only making the maps, but the whole business area behind it. So I like to keep contact with so many other creators. It's a little bit hard sometimes because, like 20 or 30 people, you want to keep up contact. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Well, we're glad that you preferred map making over your biology masters. Sheldon going in for a hat trick. Who's going to be question one? Is this what or who inspired you to try out map making for tabletops?
Let me think.
So I
Yeah,
guess
I
a lot
just
of
started it on my own.
Yeah.
So I was when I started making maps, or before that, I have made mods for several games. I have designed maps for different kind of games, from Ark Survival Evolved to Fallout, Heroes of Might and Magic. Everywhere I have made maps or similar things. So it was always something I enjoy. But when I started, there were some creators that have actively supported me.
Yeah.
So it was on one hand Morvold Press, which was for me a goal to reach someday, and I'm getting closer.
Yeah.
Still far behind, but I'm getting closer. And on the other hand, it was Mix Maps. That was the creator that my friend recommended for me.
Okay.
Chair of my group.
Yeah, because I suppose, I think we can all attest that a lot of DMs will sit there and think, I wish I could. I know, I'll just speak for myself, I know that a lot of the time I sit back and think, I'll think of a session or a plot hook or something, and then a map will just come to mind, and in those moments where I think, okay, I'm in a position where I can create the map myself, I feel quite lucky that I'm able to do that. But the quality. Oh, hello, Daisy. The quality of the maps you've got. If you find yourself in a position where you're potentially not so readily able to translate what you've got in your mind onto paper or onto screen, there are people like Birdie who could do it for you.
I know there's definitely campaigns I've had where I've had such an idea in mind for a map, and it doesn't exist. But I've known Dan talk about, it's I really want to do this particular thing, and then obviously he found you, and you basically, what we refer to as joined the EOE family. Some of the maps you've created for him, and it's oh wow, I wish I had I could just have these ad hoc maps, and it's the fact that what you do. It's just incredible, and it really does add something to EOE that just wouldn't exist otherwise, or he'd have to just theatre of the mind. But no, there's this aesthetic now, and it's the Birdie aesthetic. I mean, you've very much become a part of EOE from your maps.
Yeah, I'm also so happy to see my maps in action. It happens sometime that people are using my maps for adventures, they write on their own. Some are even streaming, and I like to see them in action. I like to see how other people think about the maps, how other people use them, and also how other people interpret some assets. The baby legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
There's a short about it, Lane. You should check it out.
So
It blew through the entirety of Cormyr. I don't fucking.
So, for context, one of the maps that Birdie made for us for the Cormyr campaign, so the Underwater Netherese Tower, there was a... Oh, hello. Sorry. Hello.
This one.
Yeah.
Look on the screen.
Yeah, okay, so it was... Yeah. So, it was a tower of, shadow wizards, and there was a table... but,
that table, yep.
really upset Tilda.
I don't think it upset her as much as it confused her, because you could see the thought process as she was going through it. I know she's watching at the moment, so she's probably those goddamn baby legs. with our child on her lap at the moment.
But yes, good old baby leg table.
There's some combination of words that I don't think should ever see the light of day. And I think that's one of them.
Table, yes.
Because the thing is, it was upon noticing that the tables had baby legs, 4 legs, that everyone started to. I think it was at that point that everyone really started to hone in on that particular room, and then start picking out all of the really upsetting things that were just kind of scattered around this like decrepit old library. Yeah, amazing stuff. So obviously you've got your maps, you've got your Patreon. You've got some Kickstarters. You recently did a Kickstarter, right?
Yes. Actually, quite a lot in total. Like in planning 5 different ones. But at the moment, I'm working on 2 Kickstarter projects. One is a map pack, which is focused on Foundry integration. So I want to buy, with the Kickstarter money, I want to buy sound licenses and place them on the map, so everybody gets the feeling of great sounds on the maps. It's something I do for my personal use, and it enhances the game so much. Like if you go close to river, you hear the river noises. If you're on a steep cliff and you go closer to the cliff, the wind gets stronger, and such effects are underrated.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that
like a
would be
movie
so
without
cool.
sound effect. There are certain people designing sounds in movies for swords clashing, for beat ups, when you
Foley
kill someone, and
artists.
sound artists, and it's a reason why they do this. And the same goes for the maps, and it's something I want to show other players, other GMs, how much this improves the game.
Yeah.
That is very cool, and that is amazing.
Also, 30 to 40 maps you get with short stories, with readout descriptions, with some plot hooks on them, and depending on the stretch goals, even more content. But I don't want to spoil too much.
Because they're all like virtual tabletop ready, aren't they? Like, the idea is that if you back the Kickstarter and you get the files, I mean, because I think a lot of role-playing game groups are still playing online. Obviously, loads of us were playing online during lockdowns. But I mean, certainly like us, for example, we decided to keep going. So yeah, just having this massive wealth of maps with attached adventures and whatnot, and just kind of chucking it straight into, for example, Foundry.
It's ready to play.
Ready to play. Yeah, that's really amazing.
So that's a question for you, Birdie. Like, is there any other sort of map creators or creatives that that exist in the community that you're part of that you'd love to collaborate with?
Oh, yeah, a lot. Actually, a lot of them. Okay, where do I start?
Listen carefully, chat, and make it happen.
So let's go from the newest people I know. That's on one hand Snowy Star 122, I think is the full name. Very nice person, very cute maps, and I absolutely love to chat with her. It's always a fun interaction. So then we have Blueberry, like the berry. And he's making city maps, and also he's currently working on a city map making software, as far as I know. It's going to be very interesting. He's also designing assets and city tiles. Absolutely amazing. You probably have seen a lot of his content online. Come on, they will be angry if I forgot some of them.
I don't want to find out afterwards they watch this. Is like, you left me off.
Don't worry, we can edit this. We can edit this.
Yes. Let me think. Other map creators, especially. We have Casasterio. It's always hard to spell him. I always forget how to spell him. He started around the same time like I do, and even though I said we don't have enemies, but his rival would be a little bit too harsh, but something. He started around the same time, and I see him, as someone where I can learn a lot from, but also the other way around. So,
rival in the same way the Pokemon games have a rival.
I was gonna say he's very to your Ash.
Somehow, but on a more friendly level, with more friendship.
Yeah.
In it. Yeah, and then of course there's one person I want to lift up a little bit more because I'm working on another project.
You're welcome, Birdie. It's all right. I appreciate
Yeah, of course,
it.
of course. It's Stroganov. Oh, that's his Discord name. His new name is Turkey Frog.
Okay.
Turkey Frog. He's
Lots of animal-based people.
it's a turkey frog. So, fun story. You have to get him to Taverns Between Dimensions.
Sure.
So he's doing so amazing artworks that perfectly fits the style of my maps. My maps have always this kind of cartoonish style, and he embraces it really. And this is his most recent work.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So.
Is that a sexy
great
Ralban?
artworks.
Oh, that's a cool picture of a TD20.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one's pretty cool.
He's doing commissions, and he has a Patreon, and I will tell him that he has to offer tokens as well soon, because I like his artwork so much. I want to incorporate them as tokens
Amazing.
for my
Nice.
games. So definitely worth checking him out. It's so good.
Yeah, that's incredible. Make sure everyone goes and checks out that page as well. And
Yeah, please do.
I think what I'll do is for anyone who's watching this after the fact, all of the creators that we've done a little shout out for, or Birdie, anyone that you can think of after the fact, I'll chuck them in the description.
I just found a simple solution. These are the ones I support.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not having this much money, I want to support a lot more people, but at least them. So I can tell Gnome Factory, I haven't heard much of both of them. Tiger Pearl, Gnome Factory, they're making amazing assets.
Mm-hmm.
Cthulhu Architect is more for the modern styled maps for the Call of Cthulhu pen and paper, but he's also making assets. Then we have Doodleish, another asset creator, just very new, I think, few months old, and of course Snowy Star, Snowy's Maps, and Turkey Frog, and Ginny D.
Who's
cycle
Ginny D? Never heard of her.
Never. Oh yeah. It's a small creator.
Yeah.
You can always see her. I always cycle my supporters. It's a supporter tier. Every month I switch to another creator which I want to support.
nice.
Amazing.
That's the thing I do. Yeah. So the reason I embrace Turkey Frog so much is the another Kickstarter project, which is something completely different. It's a card game.
Oh.
And I can show you some artworks made by Turkey Frog. So some of you might know the card game Munchkin.
Oh, I love Munchkin.
Yeah, but what do you not like about Munchkin?
But I
Everything.
lose.
Okay, yeah.
I frequently lose.
Yeah. What I noticed playing Munchkin, I love Munchkin myself very much, is that you always save up the best cards till the last turn.
Yes.
And the second person, or sometimes the third person after the person who got hit with all the cards, is winning. And I don't like this. You always play soft, and last round hard.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tackle this. So this card game is all about the most stereotypical kind of players you can imagine. Let's imagine a D&D group with the Game Master being totally player versus GM mode. And he's playing together with a person who is a totally edgelord. We have the murder hobo. We have, hold on, I can show you some artworks. We have the main character and the rules lawyer, and there will be more.
The rules lore is cute though.
Oh, always cute a little bit on it. And yeah, and basically you're playing a parody of D&D with all it belongs to.
Well, I mean, you say parody. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just
It's,
the idea at this point, isn't it?
Maybe satire. Yeah, the concept is like this. You have the dungeon master, the game master, who is drawing an open role card, like the player versus GM, the good-hearted GM, also possible, and a couple of more. The world builder, for example, and he has his role card open on his table. Everybody knows his role. On the roll, there's a winning condition, because the game does not end when somebody reaches level 10. No, it would be too easy. The game ends under certain conditions, when all players are dead, so a TPK. And the other win is if the BBG dies.
Okay.
So
it's kind of Munchkin meets Flux in a strange sense.
I don't know Flux, but
It's like Munching Quest,
Might be.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I continue. Maybe you can verify that. So the GM has his role card open, but the players do not. So if you're going into a new group with online people, you don't know what kind of players you get. So the role cards are hidden. The winning condition on the role cards is depending on the role. For example, the murder hobo needs to collect 10 NPCs as trophy, while the main character wants always to be 2 level over the others.
Right, okay.
And if you're meeting the win condition and the game ends under those conditions I told earlier, then those people who meet their winning conditions have won.
Okay.
There can be the case that all players win. There can be the case that nobody wins. And yeah, so the role cards for the players are hidden, and at certain moments in the gameplay, the cards are lifted up, or you can draw cards that allows you to sneak under the other players' cards, and then you know their winning condition.
Okay.
The combat concept is similar to Munchkin. The Dungeon Master plays out the monster card, certain types of monster cards, in a certain order, and the players fight them. The players fight them together.
Right.
So the players have to play together for a certain moment until they know somebody's winning condition, and at this point they have to fight against each other. So it's having a lot of different twists in it. You can draw items. Here are some examples, like mage hand, plate armor, very simple ones. Then we have some kind of BBEGs. I will follow. The Kickstarter will be about 4 themes. It will be wilderness with monsters, all about monsters. Then we have the Lich, who's all about undeads, of course. We have the Goblin Lord, goblins,
spirit
Mad King.
Yeah,
animal.
I was about to say, Dan is salivating over the Goblin Lord.
I think I can't explain the rules right now. I have all the rules done. There will be a printable test version soon for some dedicated people who wants to test out the game. They can always reach out to me. And
I smell a future Tavern episode right there.
But overall, it's going to be a very, very interesting, fun game.
It sounds a lot of fun.
Amazing.
And I also focus to keep it simple. So at the moment, it sounds a little bit chaotic because I haven't explained it so much in English. It makes it a little more difficult. But the rules are ready, the cards are ready, the artworks are missing, and the Kickstarter is launching very soon. I think in about a month.
Oh wow!
We are launching it.
And so,
I
which
can't wait to see this.
like, have you got a link to the Kickstarter? Because if you do, again, I'll drop that in.
There's no Kickstarter page at the moment, but soon.
Amazing. Okay, yeah. Well, as soon as there's an update, we can retroactively go back. That's nuts. That's crazy.
It's
It's
great.
amazing good. So, whilst we've been running through that card game, there's a few.
It's like one more question.
Yeah,
really.
another interesting one from Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
And Chris says he signed up to a one-page RPG jam yesterday on Itch.io. What would you make as a one-page RPG?
One-page RPG.
Yeah, so like
Never heard of this.
well, so we've gotten a lot of use out of the one-page RPG. So fundamentally, they are RPGs that are designed, like all the rules are written on just like one A4 page. So, for example, Jason Statham's Big Vacation is my favourite. But then you've also got there's one about
Honey Heist.
Honey Heist was originally
Honey Heist, famous
a
one.
one-page RPG. Goblin Quest, originally a one-page RPG. Even down
Supernormal.
to ones, Supernormal. Even down to ones like I've played one called a Terrible RPG, and the rule is you write down like skills on a piece of A4 paper, and then whenever you need to do something, you have to just tear your character sheet through the skill that you're using.
I
Oh,
never
that's
heard
cool.
something like this.
So to give you an idea, I would. I
I think I have an idea as well.
I don't know how I'd do it, but I think it'd be really fun if to write an RPG that basically combines Kerbal Space Program and goblins, or like kobolds are trying to recreate Michelangelo's flying machine. Or
That is kind of cool.
something along those lines. Yeah. So what? Just so you've got time to just formulate an idea, Carl. What would yours be?
Do you know what? I would call it the Tavern Between Dimensions, and basically have it that all players take up a role in the kitchen of the Tavern Between Dimensions. Like, I'll let someone else make up the rules for that, but you have to use your spells, your skills to like make orders as they come in from the tavern, and you know, it's up to your like page. The person who's running it has to come up with the ridiculous orders, and up to the players to then how's that put together. So there's no like. You know, the DM just comes up and says, I need you to make a goblin hog roast. And it's up to the players to decide how a goblin hog roast is made. And then it's up to, like, the head chef, I guess, would be the person running it, to decide if that's, kitchen witchery almost. But yeah, I think someone needs to make that for us, the Tavern Between Dimensions one-page RPG. Idea by Carl Dudish.
Lane, what would your one-page be?
I mean, I'm already working on a mini RPG.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Without going too much into it, it's a sort of hope punk, anti-fash, anti-corp mini RPG called We Bleed Neon.
Okay.
And that's hopefully going to be done within like the next month or two.
Nice.
Amazing.
For a one-page RPG, something about like diving under the ocean. I am a massive slut for the ocean. The people going out in the Titan submarine, I'm used to billionaires living my dreams, but that feels a bit targeted. That's how I want to go out.
Being crushed by the weight of the Eiffel Tower.
No, by the depth of 15,000 fathoms.
So Subnautica, the one-page RPG. Okay, right. So
Yeah.
we've got Goblin Space Program, we've got Tavern Between Dimensions Kitchen, we've got one-page sub-game. Birdie, based off our ideas.
Well, as I am looking at my cat calendar, I would go for something cat-related.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make a cat RPG. There are
Okay.
2 players. One is the cat, who has one already. And then there's the not cat person, the food spender, food giver, who always has to bring food and roll for certain stats. And the cat is just saying, you lost.
Amazing.
Reality.
I mean, I get the beauty. This is a beautiful thing about one-page RPGs, isn't it? Like, because you just have to come up with the most ridiculous idea. It feels like you come up with a ridiculous idea and then work backwards. Because like
I might actually write mine.
right. So like you look at someone like Grant Howitt, who's just this prolific, like he just bleeds one-page RPGs, And at some point, he sat there, probably with a pint of beer, and went, "No, it's a heist game, except you're bears."
It was either a pint of beer or something, a little stronger and possibly illegal.
Or just the fact that people have imaginations.
Because I've
As an
seen,
imaginative person, I disagree with that.
I've seen one of them I've seen recently. It was a contender to be played on the channel for all of about 4 seconds. Because
yes.
it was a game where you all play as a flock of seagulls. And instead of rolling dice, you scream as if you were a flock of seagulls, and whoever seagulls the loudest wins.
Yeah,
that just seemed to be the overall mechanic, and there was just a part of me that was like, "Oh, that'd be really, really funny." I can't record that.
No, and we all have neighbours, I'm sure, who'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, right. Okay, so so we got this card game. So yeah, absolutely. When the Kickstarter comes out, we'll know about that. Watch this space for our one-page RPGs.
I genuinely might get mine done over the weekend.
Well, if you do, we'll talk about it in the next episode.
And if anyone wants to gift us like Tavern Between Dimension, the one-page RPG, then let us know. Hit us
I'll
up on our
commission me and I'll
socials.
write it.
Amazing. Right, so we are coming up to the end. Just to wrap up, Birdie, where can we find you on the interwebs?
Google Birdie Maps and pick the first Patreon page you find. I think that's the easiest way to do this.
Sure.
That must be rewarding, the fact that you can just type in it's the first option.
Yeah, it's also some kind of navigation system I've found out. Don't get confused by this. It's something with maps, but differently. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, on Reddit, on Pinterest. I'm very new to Pinterest, so check it out there. Just got 3 followers.
Hey!
Jump onto Threads. That's where all the cool kids are now.
Don't.
Yeah, I have to do that as well. That's the most annoying part, posting regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Discord, Birdie Maps. You can get into contact directly if you want to commission a map or so.
Amazing.
Or just want to chat.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us, Birdie. We massively appreciate it. And thank you for all of the stuff that you've done for us on the channel.
Thank you for making Elsewhere look like it does.
Yeah, thank you for making Elsewhere great again. I'm doing my absolute best to exclusively use Birdie maps in this new campaign. Yeah, and I'm spoilt for choice, which is fab. So, yes, thank you, Birdie. Thank you, Carl and Lane, for joining.
Oh.
You're welcome.
And thank you all of you in the chat for your questions and for watching. I hope this has been entertaining. If you have a pressing urge to watch all of this again, this video will be going live on Wednesday. Or say again.
Don't forget the beeps.
Yes, absolutely.
Forget them, it's funnier.
Then you can, and if you want some more, there'll be another live stream in a fortnight's time. On the channel, we upload lots of regular content. So we've got an actual play RPG set in the Elsewhere episodic campaign world. Those episodes come out every Sunday. You can get a short from the most recent episode on a Saturday. That said, for those of you watching, in a couple of days' time, it will be it will be an Elsewhere. Yeah, it was Shadowrun last week. Now it's Elsewhere this week. So, yes, if you like what you saw, make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of all upcoming releases. Thank you once again, Birdie. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, Birdie.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Doodly pips.
Cow, as Lightning McQueen would say.